Nevada residency. Nevada residency can be very tricky, so it's important for students to read Nevada residency requirements in the CSN Student Handbook and/or search online for the NCHI Board of Regents Handbook, Title IV, Chapter 15, Sections 1 through 4. Also, it's important for students to search tuition and fees on the CSN website and read everything about admissions, registration, Nevada residency, application deadlines, and so on. So let's take a look at the CSN catalog. How do you get here? You go to csn.edu, click on the mega menu option, and you will see catalog. You click on that, it'll bring you to this page, and you want to use this as your guide to everything about CSN. Another option is to search for the Nevada Board of Regents Handbook Title IV, and it'll bring you to this page, and you'll see the preface with the entire Board of Regents PDF. You'll see Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV. And then you want to select Chapter 15, Chapter 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15 right here, and Sections 1 through 4. So when you click on it, it tells you what to do as resident student, reclassification of non-resident status, and administration of the regulations. So you want to read all of this important information if you are not selected as a resident. There are very clear guidelines on who is classified as a resident student. So it's important for you to read these guidelines. There are very many. Students who are classified as a non-resident but who hope to become a Nevada resident must follow very specific instructions. For example, any evidence or documentation associated with these pieces of evidence must be issued 12 months prior to the first day of the semester for which reclassification is requested. So it's crucial that students read all of this information. There is a significant difference between resident tuition and non-resident tuition. The next thing students should do is check residency status in the admission letter in the CSN student email or the personal email, whichever one it was sent to, or My CSN demographic data if you have access to that. So I'm going to my email account and I clicked on my email from CSN and it says residency. You are classified as in-state based on admission information on your application. Out-of-state charges result in higher tuition and fees. If you believe you have been misclassified, read the residency information, and there's a link here to learn more and possibly complete the residency application. And there's a link to this one as well. There's also financial aid information. When you click on the residency information, it takes you to the same Board of Regents Title IV, Chapter 15 information, and it provides the qualifying criteria for Nevada residency, like Nevada high school graduate, established residency at another NCHI institution, member of the armed forces, etc. There are 9 criteria here. Back in the email, there's also a residency application. It is very important for students to read and understand this form. Let's take a look. It begins with attention. Do not use this form if you are a U.S. military veteran student, a spouse of a veteran, or a dependent of a veteran. So this information is important, and if it applies to you, you must follow this. Residency form submission to the College of Southern Nevada. You can bring it in person or you can send it by mail. If you're applying to the Henderson campus, this is the location, North Las Vegas campus, and the Charleston campus. It gives you a submission period and deadline, and there are no exceptions. So it's very important for you to pay attention. If you are applying for the fall semester, you must submit this application starting the first Monday in April with a submission deadline on the first Friday in August. For spring semester, starting the first Monday in November with a submission deadline on the last Friday in December. Also, only applications with complete supporting documentation will be accepted. Let's take a look. We have our general information. You now have a student NCID number that you can enter here. Your year that you're applying for residency, so the year you want to start, and your signature and date. And then form instructions. Choose one of the below options available for students to establish in-state residency for tuition purposes. Are you option 1, a new current student exempt from tuition as listed on page 2? If you qualify under option 1, do not complete option 2 or 3. Are you an option 2, which is a new student? If you do not qualify under option 1, you must complete part A and part B to be considered for in-state resident student status. Or your option 3, current former student. If you do not qualify under option 1 and are seeking reclassification from out-of-state resident status to in-state resident, go to option 3. Do not complete option 2. I know this is very confusing. So let's look at the options. And remember that no residency decision will be retroactive, which means the decision can't be made starting from a date in the past. Option 1, new current student tuition exception. If you qualify under one of these exempt categories, check the box and submit the required documentation. Do not proceed to option 2 or 3. For example, are you currently attending or are you a graduate of a Nevada high school? This is very common. If you are, this is your required documentation: an official transcript or verification of enrollment. Are you currently attending or previously attended a Nevada college? Are you a Nevada State Higher Education employee, which is a professional employee, classified employee, doctoral fellow, resident physician, etc.? Are you a graduate student enrolled in a Nevada system of higher education institution? Are you a graduate fellow? Are you a member of the armed forces? Are you a U.S. Marine? Are you a member of a federally recognized Native American tribe? Are you a U.S. military veteran, spouse, or dependent? Notice that this is green. This means do not use this form. So if you're option 1, stop here, submit your required documentation. Option 2, only for people who do not qualify under option 1. Applicants must complete both part A and part B. So here's option 2, part A. evidence of Nevada residency. Are you financially dependent, whose spouse, family, or legal guardian is a bona fide resident of the state of Nevada for the last 12 months? And then to establish dependency, these are the items that you must provide. Are you financially dependent? Are you financially independent? Are you a licensed educational personnel employed full-time? If you have any of these that apply to you, you would need to submit this documentation. In addition to option 2 part A, you'll need to do option 2 part B. A student who is not a citizen of the United States, but who is lawfully present in the United States, may be considered for in-state resident student status. This applies to non-U.S. citizens lawfully present in the United States. Yes or no? If you are not a U.S. citizen and are lawfully presented in the United States, you must present documentation from one of these categories: permanent immigrant visa, temporary resident alien card, or official asylum or refugee status, approved immigrant petition as a result of marriage to a U.S. citizen, or non-immigrant visa classification. And here's a long list of visas. And then you provide your documentation. If you checked one of the boxes under options 1 or 2, stop. If not, and you are a current or former student who is seeking reclassification, proceed to option 3. Here's your written declaration of intent to relinquish residence in another state. So if you're coming from the state of California, Arizona, Utah, or anywhere else, this is the form you would need. You must hereby declare that you have abandoned any residence in any other state and that you're going to make Nevada your permanent home. Then you must check if you're financially independent or financially dependent on somebody else. The student or the parent of the student must document continuous physical presence as a Nevada resident for at least 12 months immediately prior to the first date of the term for which you are applying for residency, as well as clear and convincing objective evidence of intent to remain a Nevada resident. This means that you cannot get reduced tuition just temporarily and then go back to your home state. You are convincing with evidence that you are intending to remain a resident of Nevada. Category 4 is for non-U.S. citizens who are seeking reclassification. So there's an extra step. And that is the completion of the form. If students have any questions at all about residency, they need to contact the financial aid office. Students can go to csn.edu, select mega menu options, click on admissions. There will be cost of attendance and financial aid. Students who click on cost of attendance will see the average admissions and the tuition and fees schedule. And this is the exact amount, and it's updated for each semester. It's very long, so read very carefully. Here are the non-resident fees. And then if you go back, you'll see financial aid. There's a financial aid video. It explains how to apply for FAFSA. And under admissions, you will see office hours, residency, graduation, transfer, major, general questions. You can contact residency directly. Students can also search the search menu and type in residency and find residency information. At the very, very bottom, there is a drop-down menu with frequently asked questions about establishing residency. There's a very long list. CSN is also obligated to do a residency audit per the Board of Regents. This means that 10% of newly admitted CSN students must check that those students provided documentation verifying their Nevada resident classification as determined in the college's admission form. So it's important to tell the truth. There will be consequences if students lie on the residency application form. I hope this information has been helpful. Again, always refer to the policies and check for updated information. This video is only a guide and information changes daily. Good luck.